Welcome to another tutorial with the Wandering Watercolor. Today we're painting the fourth page of the Ocean Life watercoloring book. Let's get started. Okay, so this is the fourth page, and it is of a mantis shrimp. Sometimes they're called pistol shrimp or rainbow shrimp. They are a very colorful sea animal, and there's a lot of complexity to this image, but it'll be pretty easy once you see how kind of like the color layout is. And as always, you want to have somewhere to mix your colors. I usually recommend a porcelain soap dish, brush, a rag, or more than one rag. Colors, any paints work. I'll leave a detailed description outlining different paints that you can use at different price points. But any paint works. And then, of course, two jars of water on the side. So the very first thing that we will do is we're going to get some blue, and honestly we want to do more of like a turquoise for this one. For the very first color, we're going to get some turquoise, and we want it to be a little stronger. There's going to be a lot of layering on this one. There's a lot of colors in this creature, and this is a good color. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to take it and then just kind of run it at the bottom here, going all the way down into the tail, and then at the tail I want to have kind of like a little bit, like just do a couple of splotches right there, and then maybe a little bit going up into the scales here, like that. That's perfect. I'm going to dry that off, or rinse that off. And then the next one is we're going to get some of the green. We want a good amount of green. And then the green, I'm going to do the same thing, except right above that color. We're just kind of blending it on the edge there. Just going to grab it and pull it down. Do a little bit of that. And then also up here, where the eyes are, kind of like on the side there. Okay, that's perfect. And then we're just going to grab yellow, and yellow is going to be most of the shell on the back here. We're just gonna, it's okay if some of the colors bleed in. We're just going to pull that down. Like that. Perfect. And then I'm going to grab some more of this turquoise here. And do a little more down here, like that. A little more down here. Just kind of mixing it up. It's okay if it mixes. It's okay if it doesn't look quite coherent right now. We want to establish these base values and then kind of work on top of that. I'm actually going to pick up some of this color with my dried brush. There we go. I'm doing some of the layering. We can add a little bit here. Okay, maybe pick up a little bit. Okay, that looks fine. Then, while that's drying, while the back shell here is drying, what we're going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of the red, and we're just going to dilute it. Just going to dilute it. We want it to be more of a light red or pink. We don't want it to be too strong. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll color in the little tentacle here, or antenna rather. Color that in like that. Like that. I'm going to dry my brush because there's a bit too much on there, and then pick up that excess. try my brush. Okay, that's perfect. And then this antenna down here. And these the front legs here. All of this is going to be kind of this lighter red. Later on we'll add some more shading and variation, but just kind of filling all that in like that. All of that. Okay, perfect. And the next part, so you can see kind of like how the colors blended in here. I do want there to be more blue there, so we're going to grab this color. Okay, a little stronger. Okay, same thing. We're just gonna add it in there like that. Like that. Perfect. I want to be able to see some of that, the green and the turquoise, and because there's all these colors that blend in right at that point, and this looks fine enough. Next, we want to mix up some orange, and it can be a little more opaque, a little more concentrated. I think this should be fine. Let me see, maybe a little more. And you can use brown, orange. It doesn't have to be the exact same shade as what I'm putting in. And we're going to make some marks here. So like a little bit here, a little bit here. And these are just kind of like the colorings of the shell. They're natural colorings. A little bit here and there. Just kind of like some dots here, some spots, just kind of throughout the shell. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to have any specific shape. Okay, that down here. Okay, so that's good. And next we're going to grab a little more of the red. This time it's a little stronger, but we're going to add a little bit of purple. And if you don't have purple, just blue and red, or just add just blue on top of the red. It'll look just fine. That's too purple though. We want it to be more on the red side, kind of like a dark red. We're going to use that for outlines and some definition. Just to give you an example, this is kind of what we're going for right here. You can see it's very dark, but it'll be perfect for adding detail. So I'm going to go in, kind of like where you see lines, we're going to outline them a little bit. Like that. A little bit down here. Where the front legs are, where the antenna are. Just like that. It's little by little. Okay. And maybe some on the, just an outline, very slowly. There we go. And the legs, like that. Like that. Just kind of outlining them a little bit, trying to make them look like they have a little more volume, like they're three-dimensional as opposed to looking so flat. And that's really the extent of what we're going to do with that. But you can see, because of how dark the color that we laid in is, it creates such a nice contrast. Now the next part, we're just going to use straight purple, or mix up the darkest purple that you can get, and with whatever colors you're using, whatever palette you're using. And basically we're going to add in a little bit here, the outline of the shell, and then a little bit here in the bottom, just kind of like a little outline at the tip, like that. A little bit going up into the shell, just like that. Okay, a little bit like that. And then a little more here at the bottom, kind of like the tips of the tail, just looking a little more there, like that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna grab just a little bit here, much diluted, nowhere near as intense, and that is going to be for the inside of the eyes here. There we go. And I might just dab it with my towel or paper towel. Just, that's probably a good amount there. So that looks pretty good, actually. I'm going to step back for a moment just to look at it. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good job for how quickly we did that. So the next thing is the environment around the little crustacean. So I'm going to grab some brown, and then some cobalt blue, or just blue, whatever you have. And this is going to give you a more desaturated, more dull kind of background color for the rocks that he's standing on. And a little more. And we're going to do them in 2 or 3 layers. I'm not sure yet. So the first thing is just to lay in the base color. And the way we'll do it is we'll start from the body outwards, and then as we get outwards, we're just gonna kind of like press into the paper to create more of that texture. And this is what I mean. So we're gonna go like this, just kind of like filling it in, almost like a marker. So first we're just filling it in right there, and then as we get further out, we're just gonna press in and pull it out, just so we can get that nice texture of the paper, like that. That also creates more of the sense of an environment, because the environment would be more rugged, and the actual center point of where the animal is, it's just more defined. So like that, and down here. Okay, pulling it out like that. Down here by the tail. Over here behind, same thing, just kind of. You can also wet your brush and so you can stretch it out a little more, kind of like fade it out. There we go. And then we can do the same thing for this part right here. Is just going to be blue for like where the water is. And we're just going to grab some of that cobalt blue for that. And some water. I'm good amount of water. We don't want it to be too overpowering. We just kind of want it to be more background. Like just, let's see, maybe more water. Okay, and then just same thing. We're just gonna put that in there. And then just kind of pull it out. Just like that. Maybe wet the brush a little bit, kind of make it easier to pull out. If there's too much pigment, it doesn't spread as easily. And same thing over here. And leave it kind of like chaotic like that. And then we can go back and focus in on this portion. I'm just going to pick up a little bit there. So this portion down here, now we have the base tone laid in. We want to show a little bit of a shadow for where he's standing. So the way we'll do that is we'll grab more brown. And then more blue. That way we can kind of make it a darker color. This is essentially the same color as this, but because there's less water, it's more pigment, it comes out much darker. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of lay it in like a shadow. So like that. Kind of like where his shadow would be. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you kind of get the idea. It's like, okay, he's standing right here. This is his shadow. And then you can also use this color to just kind of like add a little bit of like spots here and there, just to show that that's the texture of the rock that he's standing on. It doesn't have to be too much, just kind of like here and there. And you can repeat the process multiple times if you want to add even more contrast. But I honestly feel pretty happy with how this looks. So I'm probably going to stop right there. And again, I'm going to leave all the tools and everything that you may want to use in the description. If you have questions, leave me a comment, email me, and I'll see you at the next tutorial.